Could I have you introduce yourself, please, sir?
My name is Michael Fasbender. I'm running for Lewis and Clark County Commission.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I invest in real estate and I buy wrecked cars and fix and sell them.
Okay. How long have you lived in Lewis and Clark County?
Pretty much my whole life. I grew up in Augusta, graduated high school there, went to college in Bozeman, and then ended up back here. I was in Lincoln for a while and then came to Helena.
And have you ever run for elected office before?
I ran for county commission, I think in 2012.
So why do you believe you're the best person to become Lewis and Clark County's next commissioner?
I think a lot of it is I have the institutional knowledge I've been dealing with the county for 20 years, and I've been on the other side of the regulatory process. And also when I was in college, I removed asbestos to pay my way through college. And after a couple of years of that, I also went to work for an engineering company, and we inspected those sites. So I got to see both sides of the regulatory environment there too.
What would be your top priority if you're elected?
There's probably several. I think right now the number one priority we have facing this with the COVID-19 is getting back to a semblance of normal. We have, I think, and a lot of experts think, a crisis headed our way with mental health. Suicides are on the rise. There's a lot of things happening with this lockdown, and we need to get that addressed. The county zoning has been a big issue. I believe the commission's going to vote on it next week. We'll see how they do. I hope that they vote to table it and let us continue working on it to improve it. And speaking with previous commissioners, I think that one of the number one complaints they have is roads. So that will be another issue that needs to be dealt with.
What do you see as the biggest differences between you and your opponent in this race?
I haven't been following him that much, but he's come to an agreement on the zoning. I, out of the gate, came out against it, and he's finally come around and has spoken out in opposition to it also. There's an age difference, which this is a 6-year term, so that's quite a few years to invest and stay active, because it's going to be a energy required environment. It's, again, in speaking with previous commissioners, it's a lot of hours invested to do the job right.
As you said, you and now your opponent have both been critical of the zoning process that's gone on. What led you to come to that position?
I actually was involved in the zoning years ago that the county tried to do. I filed lawsuit and won against them. We got one stopped. They pushed through an emergency zoning, and a little of the background. At one point we had a development standards working group. It was the builders, the realtors, Plan Helena, Smart Growth, ag interests. We were all working on, I was an active member of that group, and we were working on a zoning proposal that would do long-range planning to guide the growth that's inevitably headed our way. We were making good progress. The county basically tossed it, said we weren't going fast enough, and then that's when they pushed through the other zoning, and here we are 10 years later, and we're finally talking about it again. They really set it back. I'm hoping this time that they won't force this through, because I think it'll be another setback. It'll end up in court, and we're going to lose valuable time in getting a plan in place. Over the last weekend, I went and got commitments from the builders, the realtors, ag interests, surveyors. I've reached out to Dick Thweet, who used to be pretty active in Plan Helena, and Mark Runkle, a developer. He did the subdivision between Helena and East Helena. I'm trying to get those guys on board with, and I got commitments from most of them, that they would participate if the county would reach out and set up that development standards working group again, so that we could get this plan fixed. It's got some issues that need to be worked on, and I think it can be done. It just is going to take some time.
As you alluded to, there's going to be a decision on this coming up. If you're elected and the zoning plan has been put in place, What changes do you want to advocate for on the commission?
The big thing would be to take out the 10-acre minimum. The lot size restrictions need to be left up to DNRC, DEQ based upon site-specific conditions. I think it would be best if the county just left that up to the experts. There are some home-based business restrictions that I think need to be worked on. I mean, again, we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic and small businesses are already hurting, and this will just pile it on more. I think we need to be helping them, not creating more obstacles for them. So those are kind of the two biggies. There's a lot of details that can be worked out in it, but those are the two that I would initially try to get changed and amended once I'm elected.
Besides zoning, what do you see as the biggest issue you'll be looking at in your term if elected?
I don't see the COVID ending anytime soon. I think that's going to be probably number one for all the elected officials and for our community. It's a big deal. There aren't any easy answers to it either. So, I mean, it's just going to take some hard work and commitment and some courageous leadership. The roads, again, roads in our county, Lewis and Clark County is basically the size of, I think, Delaware and New Hampshire put together. So we have a lot of acreage that we have to provide roads for and on a limited tax base. And I think that tax base is going to get hurt too by this COVID shutdown. So that'll be a challenge. I'm sure there's lots of other issues too, but I'm going to hit the ground running and start making changes and do the best I can to make some improvements.
What's your opinion of the current county budget, and are there any changes that you want to see there?
Again, it's when you have a limited tax base, I know a lot of money goes towards mental health, which is needed. I'm a firm believer that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I think that money needs to be directed well. Perhaps there's ways we can more efficiently spend the roads money. Again, it's a big budget and a lot of things to take a look at, but we really are going to have to prioritize, and I believe there's going to be some belt tightening too in the upcoming years.
Well, what message would you like to leave Lewis and Clark County voters with?
Well, I would appreciate their vote. I am running a grassroots campaign. I'm not taking any campaign donations, so it's strictly word of mouth. I am not going to be beholden to any campaign contributors. My total allegiance will be to the individual residents of the county, and I will do my best to help improve their lives and make a difference at the county level as best I can.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.